Hey, it's Ruben Lowy here in McAllen, Texas. Back in McAllen, Texas. I uh, I went to Houston on Friday. I had somebody, a friend of mine, a long time. When I first started practicing the seven step, this guy was one of the first people I practiced on. And um, at the end of the presentation, he's like, "I wish I would have known this 10 years ago. I'd have $4 million now instead of 2 million." I didn't know he was a millionaire. And he has this project and that's helping veterans and ex-convicts get their life together. And because of my example, he saw me when I was on the way down. I wasn't at the bottom yet, but I was close, and then come back out. Okay? And he wanted me to put together a plan that I'd use for me: diet, nutrition, exercise, and then the financial element to help these veterans and ex convicts. So I uh, I went up. They got this. Well, what's crazy is my part in this. So I connected him with somebody who put together the Voc Rehab Center for veterans, teaching them first responder jobs, police, firemen, paramedics in Point Loma, the old Marine recruit depot. And then, so they wanted to do the same thing here in Texas. That guy was from Texas also. And they both had some roots in Texas. And so he calls me up. He goes, "We found a building. This fracking company. These guys, this fracking company, they're making $100 million in revenues a week. Isn't that crazy?" And it just stopped. Went out of business. And so they had this a million square foot building, and on like 40 acres, and they were going to sublease it. And he's telling me he needs a grant for $4.3 million. I'm like, why is he asking me this, right? But I knew somebody, that another ex-Navy SEAL, who wrote grants for people found grant money for projects that benefited veterans. And so as I'm going to Indiana and then Michigan, 4th of July weekend, he calls me up and they got their money. And so I'm thinking that I'm going up there and I'm going to be part of putting together this workout routine and nutrition schedule and meal plans and mindset training and things like that for these veterans, and then of course the financial element for these veterans and ex-convicts. I'm listening to these really smart people talking about their other projects with the communication and technology aspects of it, and my story. They had me tell my story was a key part of what they're doing. Okay, duplicating what I did for myself, but for other people, and then they just told me that they had this big, like 44,000 square foot area on top of their parking garage. They want to turn it into a hydroponic garden. Okay, well, now that fits into where I do my job. Okay, and I got kind of excited about that. And so I mentioned something about that and how it all goes together, and and then the next morning we talked about it some more, and I got tasked to put together the whole program, everything from the distribution of the produce, and then even the production, growing the produce and all that. And I did it this morning. I put it together this morning. And stuff I've already done in my class for my associates in agriculture So I've done it already, right? And as I'm running this morning, it made me think about, as a kid, I was dyslexic. I was in remedial reading and remedial math all the way, through grades from third grade to seventh grade, and then the summer of my senior year of high school, our TV got struck by lightning twice, and I read The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings trilogy twice that summer. And when I went back to school for the eighth grade, they wanted to put me in remedial. I'm like, no, I ain't doing it. And I'm like, fine, give me something to read, and I read it perfectly, right? And out of remedial after that, right? And and it bent their brain that I wasn't who I was, for the summer. I had changed, okay? And it got me to realize that everybody that I'm talking to that has saw me when I came to the valley, and I had nothing. I didn't have a car. I had a driver's license. My wife didn't have a driver's license, but she had a car, and I'd drive her around. But and then, I went. They had a hard time seeing me doing this. The financial literacy comes from where I came from. But when I go and I'm talking to these really smart people and telling them what I know and doing what I can do, it feels hugely different, and it tickles me that they look at me much differently. And they look, and it's a great contrast to how I'm being judged down here. And it tells me something a lot. Okay? And understand that those people that are resisting you, they're seeing you in their perception of you is based on something that you have grown out of. Okay? And you've got to get past them, whatever way you can. And things are going to change. All right. Have a great day.